Hey friends, how's it going? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a summer reset video. And this summer reset is going to include a lot of different things. It's going to include some of my June TBR, as well as some video plans that I have for the month of June. I'll be updating you on some booktube information for the book club. And then it's also going to include a few different things like content planning and cleaning, and like even doing a cleaning out of my closet, moving some of the clothes to the back of my closet and moving up the summer clothes and like getting rid of things and all of that fun stuff. I also talk about a few of my seasonal favorites at the end of this video, which includes, not only food, but also like movies and TV shows and music. There's all kinds of fun stuff in a video like this, so I'll have timestamps included down below if you want to jump around in this video, but I do love making these reset videos and I hope that you enjoy them as well. Before we do jump into the resets, I just wanted to take a second to thank today's video sponsor, which is Book of the Month. And I have been shouting about Book of the Month from the rooftops for years, but if you somehow have not yet heard about Book of the Month, then let me tell you about them. Book of the Month's mission is to help readers discover new books they love and to promote the work of emerging authors. So every single month, Book of the Month's team, they read all the hundreds of new releases that are coming out each month, and they pick the top few. It's usually between like 5 to 7 picks, but then they even have add-ons as well. And then Book of the Month members get to choose their selections every single month, and it's very exciting. I literally look forward to it every single month, getting to see what the new selections are going to be. It makes me so excited. I love it too because not only does Book of the Month have some of my most anticipated books of the year as monthly selections, but then they also feature books that I've never even heard of from time to time, and then I'm always discovering new books because of Book of the Month too. After you've selected your books, they get delivered in this beautiful bright blue box, and honestly, like nothing makes me happier than seeing this thing on my doorstep. What's really great about Book of the Month is that you can skip any month with no penalty, and you'll not be charged if you're not interested in any of the monthly selections, but I guarantee you're gonna be interested in some of these monthly selections, okay? And they have the best prices for new hardcover fiction books, because I swear I'm always shocked at how expensive books are getting, like especially hardcover books in the stores. If you walk into any bookstore, it's probably going to be like $27, even up to $30 for a new hardcover book. But this month, when you sign up with the code BREEZE, you can get your first book for just $9.99. The fact that they still have this as the deal is shocking to me because $9.99 is such a steal. It's so affordable. And the even more exciting thing about Book of the Month for the audiobook lovers out there is that they've also launched audiobooks recently. So now you get the choice of either getting the hardcover fiction book every month, or you can get the audiobook version instead if that's more your vibe. My two picks for the month of June that I could not be more excited about include A Talent for Murder by Peter Swanson. Peter Swanson is definitely one of my favorite thriller authors, and I was like screaming when I saw that this was going to be a Book of the Month selection this month. I am so excited to read this. And then I also chose The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center, and this is another romance that's one of my most anticipated romances of the year, especially after how much I loved The Bodyguard from this author. I'm just really excited to read this one soon. And so these are a few of the selections they have in June, as well as so many others, so definitely be sure to check out Book of the Month. I'll have them linked down below. You can use the code BREEZE to get your first book for just $9.99, and like seriously, Book of the Month is the freaking best. Definitely take advantage of this deal. Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get into my June TBR. First things first, for the month of June, my book troop pick for this month is actually going to be Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, and this is one that I am so excited to read. I don't know too much about this other than this is a thriller that takes place in a small town in Texas. It involves like a podcast element, and I believe we're following this girl who gets accused of like murdering her best friend, and then she's like coming back to the small town like years and years later to be on this podcast, and she's gonna be like telling the truth about what really happened. I think that's the premise. I want to jump into this knowing as little as possible, and I'm so excited that this will be our June book troop pick. I hope that you'll be able to join us, and I'm really excited that for the month of June I'm gonna be joined by both of my friends Savannah from Riveting Reads as well as Hannah from Hannah's Recent Reads, and I adore both of their channels so much. I feel like I've been friends with them for such a long time now on YouTube, and it's always a great time to have them on the live show, so I cannot wait. And then just to update you for the month of July for the book troop, if you didn't hear, we are going to be reading Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, because it's kind of like the tradition of my book club at this point. Like every single July we read the new Riley Sager, and then I have my mom and my sister on the live show to join me, and this July is going to be no different. I cannot wait. I think Middle of the Night sounds like such a fun time, and I always get really hyped about the new Riley Sager. Like he is just such a staple author for me. He's like one of the only authors that is like absolute auto buy, drop everything to read his new books because I get so excited. So I cannot wait for that. And then I'm also excited to let you know that my friend Savannah from Riveting Reads, she does have her own book club called the Lights Out Book Club, and she asked me to co-host her book club as well in the month of June. And so for her book club, we're going to be reading Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, which this is actually so perfect because if you recall last year when I had Savannah on the book troop, she joined me for the book troop live show for the Sally Hepworth pick that I had for the book troop last year for the Soulmate. So it'll be fun that me and Savannah will get another book club opportunity to get to read a Sally Hepworth Hepworth together and talk about it. So I'll have Savannah's channel linked down below so you can go and check it out, but I'm really excited to read Darling Girls. I feel like this one sounds very promising. I feel like Sally Hepworth, I've loved some of her stuff in the past, but then The Soulmate I didn't really care for. And this one sounds interesting to me, especially because it sounds like we're following some sisters who were raised by their foster mother, but then it's like uncovering the truth from their childhood and finding out they weren't as free as they thought they were. I think it's another one of those stories where characters are revisiting their past and like uncovering the truth, and it just sounds like it should be a good time. So I'm excited to read this one with Savannah. I'm very excited that in the month of June, I'm planning on kicking off the month with another reading vlog that's like reading new mystery, thriller, and horror books. And for that vlog, I have 4 different books that I'm hoping to get to. One of the books I'm hoping to get to in that vlog is You Know What You Did. This one is a mystery thriller that's about this Vietnamese American woman who, like, her mom dies right at the start of this book, and then it kind of like stirs up this trauma for her of like things that she's experienced in the past. It sounds mysterious, it sounds interesting. I know that my friend Kayla from Books and Lala, she just recently had this as her literally dead book club pick, so I've been meaning to get to it. So I'm gonna be reading that for the first vlog that I'm working on in June. For that same vlog, I'm also hoping to read Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. This is one I'm a little nervous to read because I haven't really loved anything that Geneva Rose has put out in the past, but I am planning to read this one because I do have access to the audiobook from Libro as part of their like Libro ALC program. So I do have the audiobook anyways, and the cover is so stunning and so beautiful. Like, not that that's a reason to read a book, but honestly, beautiful. I love the VHS on the cover. I just think it gives such 90s vibes. So I'm gonna be reading that one. I'm also going to be reading The House That Horror Built by Christina Henry. And this one is more of a horror novel. I'm not entirely sure what the premise is on this one, but it's the new Christina Henry. Like, I'm so excited for it. She's the same author as Near the Bone, which is like one of my favorite horror books that I've ever read. So I can't wait to read this one. And then also I'm going to be reading A Talent for Murder by Peter Swanson in that video because I cannot wait. You know, as I just mentioned, this is one of my most anticipated books of the whole year. And I'm so glad Book of the Month had it as a selection this month because I was gonna get my hands on this book anyways. And so this is one that I'm definitely going to include in that reading vlog. I can't wait. I think it'll be so much fun. If you haven't heard, in the month of June, in late June, I'm gonna be hosting another round of Screaming Color over on my Patreon. And Screaming Color is a 48-hour Patreon exclusive readathon that I host 3 times a year. And the main goal for this readathon is just to read books with a certain color on the cover. And so for the month of June, we're gonna be reading books with like purple or lavender on the cover. This readathon is happening on June 22nd and 23rd on the Saturday and Sunday. And I'm so excited. I always have so much fun hosting Screaming Color because it's always like a huge event. You know, it's like not only is it a 48-hour readathon, but I also, like, on the first day, the Saturday of the readathon, I host 10-hour-long reading sprints, and then in between the reading sprints, we do like bookish trivia, Taylor Swift lyric trivia, movie poster trivia, like all that kind of stuff, and it's so much fun. And then on the second day of the readathon, I host like 5 to 6 hour long reading sprints so that we can finish up on all of our current reads, and it should be a great time. So some books that I have with purple on the cover that I'm thinking about reading include ASAP by Axio. This one is a young adult contemporary romance kind of story that's been on my TBR for such a long time because it's the same author as XOXO, which was like one of my favorite young adult books that I've ever freaking read. So I cannot wait to read this one, hopefully, for that readathon. And then some other romances that I have on my TBR include Looking for Love in All the Haunted Places by Claire Can. This is a romance book that I've been really curious and excited to read, and this one definitely has a lot of purple on this cover here. This is from the same author as The Romantic Agenda, which is mainly why I want to read it so badly because of how much I loved that book. So this is definitely a possibility. And then I also have Love Interest, which I wasn't that interested in reading this book for a while, but then I saw Haley Pham. She actually read this book recently in a video, and the way that she described it and talked about it, she made it sound like something that I would really love personally. And because there's so much purple on this cover, I was like, well, maybe I'll just save it for Screaming Color. But I love the fact that this one, you know, it takes place in New York City. Like, I feel like this one might check a lot of boxes for me personally with what I like in romances. So hopefully this one will be happening during Screaming Color. I'm also going to be working on a video in the month of June where I read books that you think that I will give 5 stars. If you missed it recently over on my Instagram and on my YouTube community post and on my Patreon, I made different posts that please recommend a book to me that you think that I would give 5 stars. And I got so many incredible recommendations from all of those posts that I've gathered all of the data and all of the different recommendations, and I'm going to be doing a video. I think in the video I'm going to be reading maybe 4 or up to 5 books, and then for my Patreon I'll be doing an extended version of that video where I read an additional like 1 to 2 books. So I should be reading a lot of books for this project. I'm going to keep most of them a secret for now because I do want the TBR to be a little bit of a surprise, you know, create some suspense. But I can tell you that one of the books for sure that I'm going to be reading for this video that I just ordered last night off of Amazon is The Watchers by A.M. Shine. And I'm so excited that this book got recommended to me because this is one that I've already kind of had my eye on. My friend Mike actually told me about this book like last year or the year before, and he said it was something he thinks that I would like. And I'm really excited too because this book is actually getting a movie adaptation that's coming out in the month of June, and it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. Like, what the heck? So like, I'm really excited to not only read the book in the month of June, but then maybe also see the movie soon. And then I might also be working on a reading vlog at some point this month to just read some anticipated releases, because I really would like to get to the rom-commers this month. This is definitely something that I have at the top of my priority, like something I really want to get to. And then as well as a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This is one that I just got in the mail recently, and I was like screaming when I opened this package, because Ashley Poston has really become like that bitch for me in the romance genre. Like, I have loved almost every single thing that Ashley Poston has put out, and this one sounds absolutely incredible because if I recall, she's a writer. Like, somebody's a writer in this book. Ashley Poston is really well known for having something in her romance books that's just a little bit extra, you know, because like in one book she had ghosts, and then in another book she had time travel, and I think in this one it's like some kind of magical ability with the writing. It says she finds herself stranded in a quaint town that seems like it's right out of a novel, because it is. It says this place can't be real, and yet she's here. The town from her favorite romance series. So it's like she gets like put into the world of the book or something. I don't know. I don't even care. I'm so excited to read this. I'm hoping that it's gonna happen in the month of June, and I hope that I will be able to vlog this one because I need to. So those are all of some of my plans for the month of June as far as like videos and like books go that I'm planning to read this month. I'm very excited. I think June is gonna be a great month. But before I do get into all this reading, I definitely need to clean my apartment and then start planning my content calendar for the month of June. So I'm gonna cut to that now. I need to wash all of my bed sheets and do all of the things because I have a friend visiting this weekend, so I need to make sure that the apartment is in tip-top shape. Welcome to my closet. Sorry, that was supposed to be like cool, but it didn't really turn out cool. Why is it so dark in my closet? Hello and welcome to my closet. It's a mess and it's dark. Sorry, the light is making it do weird things. But anyways, I wanted to bring you into my closet because I feel like it's been a while since I've organized things in my closet and it's starting to get a little bit messy. I also think, you know, because it's about to be summertime. I mean, granted, it has been a little bit colder than usual, especially for like late May, early June. It's still been like raining and kind of like dark and cloudy. I mean, clearly like the lighting is not very good in here, which you can probably tell. But I do want to get prepared for summer, at least in terms of like moving a lot of my winter clothes or like heavier clothes to the back of my closet and then moving my summer clothes to the front. And so I feel like I need to change things around. I also might go through my clothes and try to figure out like what I should keep, what I could donate, like what I'm just not wearing anymore. Because I feel like so oftentimes I'll be like, oh, well, I'll wear that. And then I just never do. Like I never do. I also think clothes is something that I ever rarely allow myself to buy new clothes because I'm always like, why would I buy new clothes? Like I have so many clothes that I wear. But the biggest incentive for me to buy new clothes is always getting rid of clothes that I'm not wearing anymore, right? Because like the closet's only so big. I can only hold so much in here. I also just want want to organize this because I feel like there's some things up here that are just very unorganized and I just need to get better with that. I also really need to wash this old comforter that I have because this was my blue comforter. About a week ago, I had this comforter on my bed and Tank literally peed on my bed. That is some puppy behavior. Like, what the hell, Tank? You are 4 years old, grow up. And so I've been so annoyed because that night, it happened at like 9 o'clock at night and I was like, oh my God. So I literally threw this in the washer at 9 o'clock at night and it took more than like 3 hours for my washer to wash this thing. It was taking fucking forever. And so unfortunately I fell asleep and it got left in the washer overnight. And then the next day when I put it in the dryer, it smelled like gross. You know, it smelled kind of like moldy. It had that like musky smell, like it had been left in the washer overnight. And so then I washed it a second time. I washed it again the next day. And then even after it's come out of the dryer, it still kind of has that weird smell to it. And I'm like so annoyed, so I threw it in my closet for now. But now I think I'm going to try and wash it again one more time today. I did get some extra like fabric softeners from the grocery store, so I'm hoping that when I put those in the dryer, it'll help like air out that weird smell that this still has. But like, I don't know, if you have any advice for like how to actually wash something and get the smell out that's like that musky smell, I would appreciate any advice because I don't really know anything about laundry, but I'm like, is this just not savable? Like, do I have to throw this out because it smells weird, or is there a way to get the smell out? Like, I don't really know. So I'm gonna try to wash it one more time today, see if it helps. And yeah, let's just get this closet organized.
Extra, extra, read all about it. 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 Hot off the press, brand new news, front page, who is this? All black on, real low key, take a guess. I stand out from the rest, no contest. I've been the man, I'm him. Only fear God with the fear God I'm in. Been blessed, prayed up, amen. Now I'm getting to this money like a paper route kid. Extra, extra, read all about it. 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 I've been the man, you verse me, I know you would never win. Rarely take an L, never been a fan. Added sense, top speed, rest is in the wind. I just do me, I don't chase trends. First they all hate, then they wanna make friends. Talking about weed, that was never in the plan. I don't speak French, but I really like friends. Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it.
Hello, hello. I thought I would wrap up this video with talking about some seasonal favorites. This is something that I love to do anytime that I make these reset videos because I love looking back on old videos and seeing like different things that I was obsessed with during different seasons. Something that I've been getting into recently is actually coloring. I have this coloring book called The Beauty of Horror, and this one is a horror themed coloring book. And I've been having a really fun time with this lately. Anytime that I'm like listening to audiobooks or just kind of doing something mindless like that, I really love taking advantage of this coloring book. So this is definitely something that I can see myself doing more throughout this summer. As far as like food goes that I've been really into lately, I mean, my go-to drink recently has been a chai latte, but lately I love to get them with like a cold foam on top. Like a lot of coffee shops, they'll do like a vanilla cold foam or something like that on top. I'm like, oh my God, it just elevates it so much. I also love getting like a dirty chai, which is basically just like a chai latte that has a shot of espresso in it. Oh my God, like that is my go-to favorite drink right now. Like I've been ordering that and getting that more often than I just get iced coffee these days. Like there's something about a chai latte that's just doing it for me recently. I just tried these Kodiak chewy granola bars, and this one's the s'mores flavor. Oh my God, these are so good. And they actually have the 7 grams of protein, which is something that I've been trying to, you know, incorporate a little bit more protein into my diet. And these are so good. These are like the perfect snack for like the middle of the day, or they're perfect for dessert because they are so sweet, but like really good. And then I also recently, I've been making this dinner that's essentially called tater tot nachos, or they're called tachos. I originally heard about those from my friend Jordaline because she made them in a vlog and I was like, oh my God, that looks incredible. And I actually just made them for the second time tonight because they're so good. I can already tell that this is gonna be like a new favorite recipe, but it's basically just like when you put tater tots in the oven and then you melt cheese on top of them and then you put taco beef with like taco beef seasoning that goes on top of it, and then you basically just like load it up as if it's nachos. So you put like fresh avocado, fresh tomato, cilantro, like sour cream and lime. Oh my God, it's the best thing in the world. I will have the recipe linked down below in the description that I used. Like, it's incredible, it's life-changing, it's a new favorite dinner of mine. And then as far as like seasonal favorites go with music, I mean, oh my gosh, can we all agree that 2024 is the year of music? Like, I am overwhelmed by the amount of new music coming out. Like, it is so exciting to be a music fan this year because of course, you know, we have the Tortured Poets department. I mean, hello. And I think Fortnite is gonna be my most streamed song of the year on Spotify. Like, I'm just calling it now because I am obsessed with this song. It's already hit my #1 of all time on Spotify. Like, it's actually crazy how much I'm obsessed with Fortnite, but I still think off the Tortured Poets department, I still think, I don't know if Fortnite is my #1 favorite or if Down Bad is my favorite. I mean, Fortnite I've definitely streamed more than Down Bad, but I'm like, but do I love it more? I don't know. But I'm so torn between Fortnite and Down Bad are definitely my top favorites, and then like Guilty as Sin, Florida, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Like, there are so many good songs, and I'm still, I don't know, I'm still at the point where I'm preferring the first half of the Tortured Poets department over the second half, which might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't really know. I'm loving the album still. I've also been loving one of my biases in BTS, RM. He recently dropped another album, and his album is called Right Place, Wrong Person, and this album was so unexpected. Oh my god, like the first time that I listened to it, I didn't know how I felt about it because the sound is so different for him. It's unlike anything that he's ever put out before. It kind of almost has this like alternative kind of like rock, hip hop rap to it. Like, I don't really know how to describe it. You know, RM, he is the leader in BTS, like he's a rapper. So like it is kind of like a rap album, but like the sound of it just sounds so different. It's almost like late 90s, early 2000s inspired sound. And it's definitely an album that's been like a slow grower on me, but I absolutely love Come Back to Me. That was like the lead single on the album, and I love that one so much. Like, it is such a beautiful song. I also really love Heaven. Like, Heaven has such a great beachy vibe to it that I just really love. Also, there's this song called Around the World in a Day, and there's a specific part like 2 minutes into the song that just, oh my god, it hits so good. It almost sounds like Red Hot Chili Peppers or something. I don't know, but I've really been loving the new RM album. I'm just like dying over it every day. And then also, I recently discovered this artist. I think her name is Chapel Roan. I think that's how you say her name. And I recently just discovered her album that's called The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. And I guess this album came out in 2023, but I just heard it for the first time last month, and I saved so many songs on this album. I think my top favorite though is the song called My Kink is Karma. I also just really love Red Wine Supernova. I love Casual. I love Naked in Manhattan. Like, there are so many good songs on this album, so I've been loving that recently as well. As you might have seen in some of those last clips when I'm like getting posts ready for Patreon and everything, something that I do on my Patreon monthly is I like make a playlist of all the music that I've been listening to, and literally for the month of June, the playlist was 30 songs long. Like, I've never had a playlist be that long before, but there's genuinely so much good music coming out that I can't even narrow down my favorites. Like, I just had to include it all. And then some like movies and TV shows that I've been obsessing over lately. Well, one, okay, is Challengers. This is a movie that I saw twice in the month of May. Dude, I am so obsessed with Challengers. Like, I'm calling it right now. This is gonna be my favorite movie of 2024. Like, I loved it so much. It's about these tennis players. It's like a messy love triangle, but it is so freaking juicy. Like, it is so entertaining. Like, there's just something about this movie. The way that the tennis scenes were filmed, I didn't think that I gave a fuck about tennis, and after this movie, I'm like, oh my god, I'm obsessed. Like, I need to play tennis. I love it. Not only was like the acting so well done in this movie, but the chemistry that all of these characters had together, it was just so incredible to watch. Like, I'm addicted to this movie. I love the score and like the soundtrack. I even added some of the soundtrack to my June playlist because of how much I'm obsessed with the score, because you know, the score is done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who are two people that have had some of the best movie scores of all time. And so it makes sense that the Challengers had an incredible score, but honestly, like, oh my god, best score of the year. I hope it gets nominated at the Oscars for score because it was so good. And so Challengers has been like consuming all of my thoughts. Like, I just think about this movie all the time. I'm obsessed. I love it so much. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, and I think it'll probably be my #1 favorite movie of the year. I also recently saw The Fall Guy because, you know, I'm a huge Ryan Gosling fan, so he's the main reason why I wanted to watch this, but I also love Emily Blunt, and I think they were so cute in this movie. They had a lot of chemistry. I love the fact that he is kind of playing a stunt man, and so it's kind of like getting the chance to shout out like stunt people in movies, you know, and like showing how difficult of a job that can be. It's also so cute because I love the way that Emily Blunt, she was playing like the director of a movie, and then he was getting put on to be a stunt man for her movie, but they kind of had this like fling in the past, and so she doesn't want him on the movie, but then like there's nobody else because they're filming in Australia, and it was so cute. Like, I don't know, they had such cute chemistry. I feel like my only nitpick with this movie was I wish there was like more romance scenes in it, because it really is more of like an action comedy kind of movie, and the romance is like a really small part of it, but I kind of wanted more of the romance. But this one was really cute. I ended up giving this one like 4 out of 5 stars. I really loved it. And then a show that I got absolutely hooked on and obsessed with recently is Baby Reindeer, and this is on Netflix. Oh my gosh, I flew through through this in like 1 or 2 afternoons when I was really sick. Like earlier in the month of May, I had a fever and it was like a whole 48-hour thing where I didn't feel good. I flew through this entire show in those 2 days because it is so good. Oh my god, but I would warn you that this show is really dark. It's really emotional. So I would look up trigger warnings if you're a little bit nervous, because there are some definite trigger warnings for things like, you know, sexual assault and like different things like that happening in the show. And like the main premise of the show is that this guy starts getting stalked by this woman. It's like one day he like serves her in his bar, you know, he like gives her a free drink because he feels bad for her, and then she literally starts stalking him and like becoming a big part in his life, and like it's really creepy, but it's so well done. And the creepiest thing to me about this show is that the entire show is inspired by a real life story that the actual lead actor in the show experienced that shit. He wrote about his own life and his own experience and created the show, and I think that that's so wild. The fact that he had to essentially like relive this trauma just to do this show is just totally mind-blowing to me. But I loved the show. I thought it was so brilliant. I thought it was so well done. There were a few episodes especially that are really hard to watch in this show, but oh my god, the freaking full circle, like the ending, it just like literally gave me chills. Like it was so good. But this is definitely one that I would recommend, you know, watching with caution, because it's definitely a lot and it gets very dark and it can be very difficult to watch, but I have so much respect for this show. And then lastly, the last thing I wanted to mention is that recently I've started watching Sex and the City, which sounds so random for me, you know, because I've never actually watched Sex and the City like all the way through. I've seen clips of it here and every now and then, but I've never taken the time to actually like sit down and watch Sex and the City. I was seeing this other YouTuber talking about it, and she was a YouTuber who was like living in New York, and she was just mentioning how, oh, Sex and the City is like her recent obsession and she's like getting into it, and she was talking about how it like mostly held up. So I was like, I mean, why not? You know, it's on Netflix. It's only 6 seasons and the episodes are really short. They're only like 22 minutes long or something. So the other night I just started watching Sex and the City, and I'm only like maybe 7 episodes into the first season, but I'm actually really liking it so far. Like I'm really surprised. I mean, there's something really cozy about watching a show from the 90s that's like, yeah, it's a little bit outdated with its like ideals and like feminist ideals, and then also like, you know, the actual graininess of the show is a little bit outdated. There's just something about it. I really like it. You know, I like that we're following Sarah Jessica Parker. She's living in New York City, of course. And then I also love the fact that I didn't realize that in the show, she's actually writing a column for the newspaper that's called Sex and the City. Like I love any kind of stories that follow, you know, writers. So like that's another cool thing that I didn't realize it would be in the show. And then I also like that, you know, it's following not just Sarah Jessica Parker's character, but it's also following like her 3 closest friends. So it's like 4 single women living in New York City. It's just really entertaining. Like, I don't know, I actually really like it. And so that's just kind of been a show that I've been putting on and like winding down before bed. I just put it on in the background and it's very nice. So like Sex and the City, who knew? I never really thought that that would be a show that I would be interested in watching, but I'm glad that I gave it a shot because I really do like it. So those are all of the things that I've been enjoying recently. You'll have to let me know if you've, you know, seen or heard or like listened to this music, or if you've watched any of these shows or movies. I would love to know. You'll have to let me know any like seasonal favorites that you've had, you know, going into the summer. Like what have been your favorite things in the spring? I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye!